Hello guys, welcome to the Financial Journey with Coffee channel, and today marks the 1 year review of my time with StashAway, or my time in using StashAway. And today I'm just going to go over the thoughts around StashAway and how I've been doing with regards to the performance of StashAway, and also all the perks that or all the benefits of StashAway compared to other robo-advisors, and also by investing on your own, be it in the Bursa Malaysia Stock Exchange or just investing on individual stocks in locally or internationally. So it's been 1 year now since I've started investing with StashAway, and so far I've been really satisfied with how StashAway has performed, both in terms of how my returns has been, how much my returns has been, and also in terms of their customer service, and also what happened just a couple months ago when there was a failure, how they reacted towards it, and how they've managed to recover from that huge disaster, but they managed to turn it into something that was rather pleasant and rather beneficial. They explained to the customers of what had happened, and everyone, or at least most people, are satisfied. And I've turned. So for those of you who've seen my other videos, you can see that I was really dissatisfied with them being having such a huge mistake, but they've corrected it and they've refunded everyone's money back as far as I know. And so StashAway has done well with regards to that department. But today it's not so much about that. Today I'm going to deep dive into my performance with StashAway. So when I first started using StashAway, I only had one portfolio, which is this portfolio, the 36% plan for retirement portfolio. And so I started investing with StashAway in August of 2019. And slowly in the year of 2020, in the beginning of 2020, I created another portfolio, and it was this portfolio, but it was, instead of the 30%, it was the 26%. I've just a couple days ago changed to the 30% risk index. So let's look at my overall performance, right guys? Look at what StashAway has returned me. So this is as of 2nd of September, but it's actually even more as of the end of August. It went down a little bit, and later we'll deep dive. So what I want you to see is I basically invested with StashAway at the end of August, right? August 30th. And you can see I literally just put in a ringgit, a dollar. And I did not touch it all the way to when it was almost halfway through September, right? So at least 15 days later, I deposited in 200 ringgit and so on. And so what I did with StashAway so far is I have consistently dollar cost average in it used to be monthly and then weekly on a weekly basis, and both of my portfolios. And you can see that at certain times I've deposited more money, right? And I had some money sitting aside, so I put in more and more and more. And what I want you to notice here is, first of all, for those of you who went through the March crash, and if you would have taken out your money during March, right? Because everyone was panicking and everyone saying, "Oh, it's the end of the stock market. Everything's going to crash, and stop investing." If I were to do the same thing, look at this, guys. This is in March, 21st of March. It's when the market was at its lowest. If I would to have to deposit or withdraw my money, I would have lost almost 10,000 ringgit, guys. 10,000 ringgit. And if I would just keep it on just a little bit more, look at this. Just one month after, I've already break even. And so this is just shows you that when you start to invest, you have to have a strategy. And for those of you who has followed my channel, thanks and welcome again. My strategy of investing is just to dollar cost average. So I do not care if the market goes up, if the market goes down. I will constantly just dollar cost average in. And be it a monthly on a weekly basis, it's up to you. You decide for yourself what's best for you and the amount of dollar cost average that you can afford, right? So for my strategy, what I do is I just dollar cost average a consistent amount whenever I can, and when the market is down, or when I'm sensing that the market would be down, right, for a couple of days, what I do then is to double my investment, right? So say if, for example, on a weekly basis I would put in 100 ringgit, and if the last couple of days has been down, has been in the red, what I would do is then I'll put in 200 ringgit instead of 100 ringgit. And so that's how I basically dollar cost average of the market. This strategy is particularly useful for people like me who we don't really want to care so much about what are the particular investments which we invest, right? All we do is just I care about the ETF that I invest in, and beyond that, on an individual stock level, right, a company level, I really do not care because I believe in the ETF that StashAway has chosen, and so therefore I dollar cost average using that method. And you can see here I have basically the 36% portfolio, the 30%, and then lastly StashAway Simple. So let's go over each one of them one by one, right? So if we look at the 36% portfolio, you could see that so far, this is my 36% portfolio of how it looks like, right? You can see in the March, it crashed was really bad, right? And then when it went up to June, July, and then August, I've basically made a profit consistently, guys, although it's an unrealized profit. And then if we look at my 30% portfolio, actually it was a 26%. I just recently changed it. But I started off on January 23rd, right? I deposited 500 ringgit. And so what I did is consistently just deposit money every week, and then every one, and once in a while I'll deposit more, once in a while I'll deposit less. And so far, look at my returns, guys. The 36% portfolio time weighted return year to date, so basically 1 year on, I've gotten back 17.55%. And then when we look at the money weighted, it is now at 33%, guys. That is way better than the S&P 500. If we look at the S&P 500, right, and you look from August all the way to right now, right, let's take a look at it. 1 year on, right, and let's take maybe like just the 3rd of September, right, all the way to now. Look at how much you get, 21.35%, right? Whereas in StashAway, it's close, right? Time weighted 17.55, money weighted 33.15. So pretty close, right, guys? Not too shabby for StashAway being only investing for a year, 21% to 17%. And then if we look back at the 30% portfolio, or at least the 26% portfolio, although the risk here is really lower because there are a lot of bonds, and that's part of the reason why I switched to the 30% portfolio just recently. For those of you who are interested to know why, comment down in the section below, and I'll maybe make another video of why I think it's the right time to go up to the higher risk risk index. But anyway, my time weighted return, this hasn't been a year, it's only since January of this year. It's already 7.5%. And then when I look at money weighted return, it's 18%. Guys, this is something that literally, if you were to use a unit trust, very few of them would be able to beat these numbers and these projections. And when I first started investing with StashAway, I did not imagine that this would be the performance that I'll be getting, right? So just a very brief overcap, right? And what I did was basically wrote down all my numbers and how much I've been earning since the time when I started investing with StashAway, right? So what you can see here, guys, is my money. The blue is my total net deposit, and then the orange is my profit or loss, basically. So you can see in August I invested in ringgit, right? 500, 3,000, 6,000, and so on. And you can see that in February I've already started losing money, guys. So this is just what I've put in, right? And these are basically what I've lost or gained. And in March, guys, I've actually lost quite a lot, quite substantial. And then in April, I almost fully recovered. May, June, it was all basically in the positive. When we look at this on a basically absolute level, you could see that in August, I only earned 0.01 cent. September, $2.80, right? October, I've profited 38 ringgit. November, 162. December, 286. January was also a profit, but it wasn't as high. These are not cumulative, guys, so these are basically just the absolute number. And then you can see in February I lost 1,700 ringgit. In March I lose another 5,150 ringgit. But guess what, guys? That didn't bother me. In the whole month of February and March, I still continue to dollar cost average. When you look at my February to March numbers, you can see that I literally added, right, a lot of money in, right, a substantial amount of money. And then in April, right, you could see that from 5,000, I basically then profit now. It's crazy how just 1 month would change things, right? So imagine if I would to have pulled out in March, my $5,000 profits or negative is basically gone, and I would have lost 5,000. But anyway, I kept it all the way, and as of the end of August, this is my profit number, guys. It's really crazy to see how the stock market has reacted. And if you invest with a particular strategy and believe in your strategy, you would not go wrong. The point where people usually go wrong is when they do not have a strategy when they invest. So this is basically my return in percentage wise, right? This is the absolute return. You could see in March I basically lost 11% of the total deposit that I invested, right? 11%. Can you imagine, guys? If you were to put in 10,000, you would have lost $1,100. That's a lot of money, right? But that did not keep me from investing. I still continue on, and you can see as of today, I'm up 10.44%. And when we break it down to my 36% portfolio, you can see this is my 36% portfolio, right? It was negative, and then now I'm basically getting a profit, right? So you can see I was down 4,000 and now I'm up by almost 8,000 ringgit in this 36% portfolio. Same thing in March, I was down almost 12%, guys. Just to pose a question to you now. If your portfolio one day, right, in a given month, let's say right now, 1st of September all the way to the 31st of September, it dropped by 12%, what would you do? Think about it, guys. Because this could happen again. It could even be worse. Would you react wrongly, right? How would you react? The best way is, guys, to have a strategy beforehand and to continue believing in your strategy. So basically, you can see for this portfolio, I'm up by almost 13%. And then the same thing for this 26% portfolio. You could see, right? In March, I was down. In February, I was down. And then the rest of the month, I've been profiting again. March, not as bad as the 36% portfolio, but I was still down 7.6% compared to 12.64%. But guys, overall, this is what I want to convey to you guys, is that for those of you who have not started investing, I urge that you start investing. Do it while you're young. You know, the richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, or basically the best investor in the world, in my opinion, Warren Buffett, he advises people like you and I who are not basically trained financially. The best way to invest is to invest in index funds. And StashAway provides us a platform that allows us to invest in index funds. And you can see right now, this is my 1-year review with StashAway, and I'm really happy. I initially came in with lots of skepticism, right? Lots of doubts about how they will perform, but now I'm a happy customer. I really like StashAway. I hope there would be another company coming up in Malaysia, be it StashAway or some other people, that would maybe give us a option to invest in the US stock market on an individual level without the high surcharge fee. So until that comes, guys, my strategy is to continue using StashAway to dollar cost average whatever I have in my bank account, and to continue to dollar cost average with StashAway. And so far, my returns is pretty good. For those of you guys who would be asking, well, how do I start with StashAway? Well, I have a referral link down in the product description down below in this video. You could use my referral link and sign up, and you'll get free $30,000 off of management fee for 6 months. And for those of you who have used it already, I thank you so much. I already have quite a number of you, and I'm surprised by even just having one. So you guys are really awesome, and I really thank those of you who have used it. But for those of you who have already invested in StashAway, let me know how your stock portfolio performance is. For those of you who have not invested, let me know why. Maybe you prefer some other platform, or maybe you prefer investing on your own. Let me know your strategy. But coming from me, I believe that StashAway basically provides us the best possible hands-free method to invest. And so I'm really happy with how StashAway has performed. And now I'm going to talk to you about StashAway's rebalancing, right? So you could see that StashAway, and somewhere in May, from when I was investing in the 36% stock risk index, right, I had lots of US equity portfolio or ETF that were invested with StashAway at that time. And when StashAway switch around, right, they switch around and they say that, okay, now we're going to rebalance your stock portfolio. We're going to introduce 20% of gold. Guys, 20% of your portfolio in gold, that's crazy. And then they say that we're going to put now another 20% or so in the China ETF, KWEB. To be honest, just like what Su Yin Ong, you can view her channel. I'm really a great subscriber of her. I love her channel. You can view more about what she says, of her opinion. But I have the same opinion of her with her. I was kind of skeptical because I really wanted to just invest most of my money into the US companies, and so when I heard that they're gonna switch, I just wasn't too happy. But guys, look at the two main assets or two main ETFs that StashAway has invested with us in this 36% portfolio, and see how much it has given us back, right, in return. Look at this, guys. So what they added was this China Tech ETF, right? And if I were to show you how much basically I've gotten back, look at this, guys. Time weighted return. China ETF 43.86%. That is insane, guys. 43.86. It's almost like investing in the NASDAQ. It's probably the same or even better, and I'm not sure. But since May, I already gotten back 43.86%. That's yeah. That speaks for itself. And then you look at gold. Gold and basically up by 12.88%. And so I was skeptical about China. I was skeptical about gold, right? But I think StashAway definitely has done the right strategy so far in investing in gold. But if I were to have my own opinion, I definitely would reduce the current weightage of gold from 20% all the way probably down to 10%, right? I still do not believe that gold is a good long-term bet. So I'm hoping that whenever StashAway thinks it's right to rebalance our portfolio, that they would reduce the amount of gold that's inside the portfolio, because in the long run, right, in 5 years to 10 years now, gold is not a producing asset, right? If you own 1 ounce of gold today, 10 years from now, you still own 1 ounce of gold. Warren Buffett said this, right? He rather buys a plot of land in the middle of nowhere in US, right, and live it there for 10 to 15 years or even longer than to buy gold, because gold does not produce you anything extra. It's all just a perceived value, right? A perceived value of how the market values gold. Whereas if you buy a plot of land, that land perhaps costs you $100,000 to begin with, right? But the thing is, that land can produce you things like crops, like food, like vegetables, and all these producing assets can produce you more and more, and it generates more and more money as the time goes by. So it's a producing asset rather than just a gold, which is just a store of value, right? But I still believe having some amount of gold in your portfolio, it's important just as a hedge against inflation and hedge against the currencies of this world. But gold is definitely something that I would change if I have the opinion. But you know what? I'm not a financial advisor, or I'm not a stock guru like StashAway is, right? So I guess I would just have to trust in them and to continue investing. So that's all for now, guys. This is basically the update of my portfolio and my opinions about StashAway 1 year in. Really thanks to StashAway for their great work giving investing options to laymen out there like you and I. And guys, let me know about what your StashAway portfolio looks like and what kind of options or what kind of videos you would like to see further on. That's it for me from StashAway, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.